Had two packages arrive, and so I wanted to share with you really quickly what I got. So I've ordered a bit of yarn recently since the Christmas holidays. There was lots of boxing sales and other bits and pieces, and so they're slowly starting to arrive. So I've just got two packages to share with you today, supporting Australian yarn. So the first one is a place where I buy lots of my yarn from, which is Bendigo Woolen Mills. And so package is here. And I purchased from Bendigo Woolen Mills this beautiful navy color. So this is part of a exclusive, like a short run limited edition kind of set they did. This is a 4-ply, and so that is fingering. It's a heavy fingering. This one not so much. So this is actually part of their Tranquility range. It is 75% wool, 20% nylon, and 5% silk. And so I purchased some of this when it first came out, and of a different colorway, and so I've still got that squirreled away ready for a project, and I know what I'd like to do with it, but I needed some navy for another one that I'm going to start to cast on very soon. And so I bought 4 balls of this. Now these balls from Bendigo Woolen Mills in this navy colorway, but most of their balls are big. This is 200 grams. So in here, there is 720 meters. And in Australia, that prices to this order for these 4 balls of wool and 7 4s are 28, so 2,800 meters of fingering weight yarn was $60. So it's super effective, affordable yarn, and I've knit a bunch of stuff out of this last year. So I'm excited to cast this on. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet because I want to do some swatching just to make sure it's right. If it's not right for that project, it's still beautiful and lovely, and I will use it in a different one somewhere else. So, Bendigo Woolen Mills. Because I ordered over the Christmas break, they were very upfront about saying that they weren't open for delivery until the 3rd of January, and then I got notification a few days ago, so it's very quick within Australia. I wouldn't say it's incredibly super duper fast considering, but it's fast enough. Like I said, I don't really desperately need it right this very second, so it was all good. Then the other one is I've started this year, last month or so, to purchase some more hand-dyed yarns and yarns that are in wool or a fibre that is lighter. After my reflection of 2022, fingering weight, although they may take people quite some time to make, actually suits my climate a lot more than a DK or something heavier. So keeping that in mind, I decided to start stocking up on some lovely hand-dyed yarns. And I do actually want, this is a real flip from other people, because remember, I've only been knitting for a year. So my starch is very acrylic heavy and very, once I found Bendigo Woolen Mills, very solid yarn type heavy. And that's where I was, so that was beautiful. And I'd like to partake in one of our Australian dyers, Louie and I'll find it somewhere and pop it in. I can't because it's on my phone. I'm running a year-long knit-along, and it's got monthly themes, but it is using Australian yarn, Australian or New Zealand yarn from an Australia or New Zealand designer. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. I don't have a lot of just little skeins of things, and if I'm going to partake in something that goes for 12 months long, I actually need some skeins for just smaller projects rather than I make a lot of garments. So there's a lot of tops that I can make, and I have plans already for what they are. A lot of them obviously are going to be using Australian yarns. That's great. But for this first one, I didn't really have anything. So I went, when sales all came up, I was buying skeins of little bits and pieces of it's a last one. So it was reduced in price, or a colorway that I super duper loved, or it would be an accessory I would love to have around. So I haven't got a single skein of everything. I know lots of people do. I wasn't in that space last year because I didn't see how it would fit into my knitting, and now I do. So I purchased from somebody I've been following on, they just come in these beautiful packets, and Rainbow and Sprinkles. And I've been following her for quite some time and put things in my cart and then not purchased, but then because I really wasn't sure how I would use it. But when this make along around Australian yarn, Australian New Zealand yarn, Australian New Zealand designer, I'm like, this is a great excuse to like stock up on 1 or 2 skeins of things. So that's what I've done. So in this package, oh, it's a little postcard. Oh, that's lovely. Postcard with a thank you code for when I order next time. There's a little percentage off there. This package is happy to see this package is happy to see me. I'm happy to see it. So I bought 2 skeins of this. I love bright colors, so this is beautiful. This is Rainbows and Sprinkles. The colorway is You Had Me at Aloha on their Lashes sock base. It is a 75% merino, 25% nylon, and hand dyed. So I bought 2 of those because when I did that, I really wasn't sure what I would use it with. I'm kind of thinking this is a shawl with a contrast. I like high contrast when I'm wearing garments or wearing a shawl. I actually really like the play of it, not something subtle. And with something like this, I could find a really beautiful contrasting. So that's that. I'm thinking it might even go with a black, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so I bought that. And then I don't own a single mini skein. I didn't buy an Advent because I didn't know how I would use it. Then having watched my very first, after a year of knitting, watching everyone's Advent projects, don't really want to do that right now, but I did find some cool when people were sharing, if you're making this, if you've got an Advent, here are some patterns. So there's a couple that I actually added to my favorites. And so I wanted some, these are super duper neon, but the little pops of black in there too. And so this one I bought 2 of those. So, because often when I make a garment and I've got a garment in mind, I think it's called the Rainbow. The B-O-W is not B-O-W, it's spelled differently. And in the Rainbow, it's got like a rainbow down on the hem somewhere. And I think it's across the top or somewhere, like there's 2 rainbow patterns. And so I bought some neon because I thought that would be a cool way of doing like a rainbow. And I love neon, but I don't actually have a lot of it because as a garment, I don't really find that there's anything like that around. So I'm not set on it, but this one is, it's called So Dramatic. So Dramatic mini skein set, 85/15, split between merino and nylon, luscious sock base. So it's beautiful as well. So I've got 2 of those because I do, and my girls love bright stuff too. And I got 2 of these, so I can start participating in the make along using some Australian yarn that I haven't already earmarked for particular projects. So I'm excited to do that. All right, thanks for watching along. If you'd like to see more of what's coming up, I've actually filmed my garments and everything I've made in 2022. But because it's hot in Australia, I can't sit there and put the garment on and talk about it because they're all winter things and it is crazy hot right now. So I did crank the aircon on and just filmed myself quickly putting everything on. And so my plan is to do a video and then overlay those videos into it. So it's coming, a good stretch of my ability to edit something like that. So I don't have anything else in here. So lovely. Alrighty, thanks everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe if you would like to see more content around. I'm in my 2nd year of knitting now as my adventure and supporting Australian yarn dyers. Bye.